Hey everybody, this is Hazard Reborn here, or for those of you that know me by my actual name, Soufrilas. This is the monthly update for Mythic Draconis. First off, I just want to let you guys know that I'm going to show a walkthrough without showing the puzzles and the secret locations of this map. So I'm going to show you the simple, straightforward walkthrough of the first level. So for those of you that don't want to see that, then consider it a spoiler and you want everything to be pretty much a surprise in the game, and you just want to see some gameplay, I have another video up which showcases just the gameplay of where the game is at the moment. You know, just skip this video altogether, don't watch this. I'm going into details of what the mechanics are like. I don't go too much into spoiler territory. I mean, it's not really spoilers, the things that I say, but for those of you that want to have that clear 100% experience where you know nothing going into the game, you just want to experience it, you just want to know like some simple things of around about what it looks like when it plays, and you know, up and down the attacks and some stuff like that, go check the other video out and skip this one altogether. If you have no problem with knowing there's not really any major spoilers at all. I don't talk about any story, and from the 4 puzzles in this map I only show one puzzle, which is a pretty straightforward puzzle anyway, and it's the simplest one of them all. So I show you that one just so I can also demonstrate a certain mechanic with magic spells in this game. For those of you that want to continue and you want to see more in more detail, not just a little gameplay video, don't be afraid. It doesn't have I don't spoil anything big or anything like that. If you don't want anything spoiled at all, please go check the other video out instead. It's been 1 month to the day since I got Game Maker Studio 2 full license, not the trial that I was actually working with. Some of you might have seen the pre-alpha trailer that I had uploaded. That was with all the limitations of the trial version to Game Maker Studio. So now I got a full license and proper work can actually be finally done on the title. So it's been a month and I just want to show you guys the progress on the game and where I'm up to. Before I go ahead and show you in-game content of where it's at the moment, I just want to let you know first of all what is Mythic Draconis. Mythic Draconis is pretty much a passion project, along with a whole bunch of projects I really want to get my hands on and make. And the whole idea is to be a platformer that harkens back to the 16-bit retro games of the 90s, early to mid 90s. Think of the Super NES era and the Sega Genesis era, and that's pretty much the style that I'm going for with most of the games. Of course, I'm taking liberties in making the game a little bit more modern, especially in the movements, some of the camera movements, which is something that I actually added today. And some extra little mechanics here and there which make it a little bit more fresh, a little bit more updated, but at the same time I am trying to keep the liberties that I'm taking with the game as limited as I can, to try my best and keep the feeling intact. Of course, graphically this is going to be a lot better than those titles back in the day. I'm not restricting myself to the actual game sizes in terms of kilobytes and whatnot that they actually used back in the day. It's the pixel art is, you know, it's taking after that look, but it has no limitations in either resolutions and how many assets and how much and how large stages and how much content is put into it, obviously for obvious reasons. I mean, clearly it has to be a title that we can enjoy today as well, whilst at the same time create a kind of nostalgia feel. The game, again, as some of you might not know, because I saw a pretty funny comment the other day, it's not a pay to win or something like that kind of title. I mean, I don't know why anybody would do that with such a title to begin with, but anyway, it's not a monetized title either. There's no in-game monetizations or anything like that. The model is pretty simple, straightforward. It's a purchase game. You know, you purchase it once and you have it forever and you play it. Simple as that. One price, one purchase, and the game is yours. That's the direction that I'm going for. Of course, I'm going to try to see if I can get a demo up at some point, maybe even a beta version up, so people can test out and I can get more feedback, or the other way around, a beta version for testing and a demo just to advertise the game and people to actually check it out, and if they like it, you know, purchase the full game and have access to everything. So let's get into it. Arcade mode is the only thing that I'm working on at the moment. Just open a menu. You can see right here we have our first options. High scores aren't working at the moment, as you can see. In the options here, you're gonna find the button maps and everything, you know, how to play the game. It also has some hints. You can change the difficulty, which is actually working. The filter is working as well. So I'm showing you the things that are working at the moment. You can put scan lines on or off. We'll try with scan lines off for now, and then we'll do a little bit with scan lines on as well. Load games aren't working at the moment. You have 3 save slots. I'm trying to really make it feel also a little bit limited and kind of well, retro, because there's really nothing stopping me from having a full list here that I can make as many save games as I want and just have a scroller and have, like, you know, infinite amount of save games. But I wanted to keep it a little bit, again, harkening back to that old time and have a little bit of nostalgia go into it. And you probably won't need more than 3 save games for this game anyway. I mean, I'm not aiming this game to be some kind of a huge 5, 6, 10 hour experience, of course not. It's meant to be kind of like the arcade games back in the day, and that means that the arcade mode should be pretty fast. I'm aiming for, I don't know, like about an hour, maybe 1 hour and 20 minutes for the arcade mode, and for the story mode, hopefully maybe double that. We'll see how it goes and how much time I also have to put more detail into the story. How simple I'll make it and how detailed I'll make it, which will also be not just a matter of how much time it's going to take me, but also it's a matter of how much I start to feel that the game is starting to steer away from a retro feel and starts becoming a little bit too modernized. So I'm creating certain limitations, even to myself creatively, because it just doesn't feel right. I mean, it kind of goes against the whole point of what I'm trying to do here. The theme is kind of like a Ghouls and Ghosts. It wasn't intended initially, but that's the style that came out after the first, you know, sprites that I made and all the first, you know, little animation and stuff, and I went with it. And you know, Ghouls and Ghosts is a great game, or Ghouls and Goblins, I think, was another version, depending on the region that you were in. Yeah, it has a little bit of a cartoony look and feel to it, but at the same time, it's kind of dark, and it's gonna have a lot of blood in it as well. So, good new game. Story ain't working at the moment. We just have arcade, and this is the first thing you see when you load the game up. You'll notice a couple little things here and there that I've actually added to the game. For example, at the top, one of the new things that I've added is the location that it tells you, Town Gate. This is not the name of the map. The map is called Old Perium. I'm gonna have like a load screen before each map as well that shows you what the map, what the level is. Town Gate is actually a part of this level, and you're gonna notice as I'm gonna do this playthrough that the name up there is gonna change according to the different locations in each part of the level that you progress through. I'm also using that for story purposes, but I also because I want the maps to make a little bit more sense. So it kind of has a little bit of a story-driven, maybe RPG feel to it, but it's not really an RPG. Don't expect it to be an RPG. And also that serves as the checkpoints. Every time you change a location, the last location that you were in within the level, wherever you die, you're going to be spawned at the start of that location. So it's also a form of a little bit of, you know, breaking the levels down. Fortunately, it's losing a little bit of frames here with the recording program. I've kind of pushed my PC to the limits these last days, this last month in general. But anyway, we have down at the left your health bar, that dragon head with the blood that's in it. You'll see it spill out as I get hit. Then you have your health potions, 3 at the moment. Then you have shield. There's a shield incorporated system in this mechanic where as you attack the enemies on the 3rd strike of your combo, and when you kill an enemy, you increase your shield. Shield can be used to block attacks, like that. That's your block right there. And of course it decreases as you block enemies. There's a little combo when you press the block and the attack button at the same time. When you have 150 shield, it needs 150 shield to be executed. and it does like a dash that pretty much is a pretty powerful move, and it kills anything within its range, unless if it's a larger enemy. At the moment we are on the first level again, and the enemies are still pretty easy. Your lives, at the bottom of that, there's a little icon at the bottom left all the way. That's gonna be spoiler territory, so I'm not gonna go into that right now. And then we have on the right continues, how many coins we collect. The coins are going to be used on the arcade mode just for points and score. On the story mode, there's going to be a shop within levels and different locations. You're going to go to like NPC kind of things, you know, little story intervals, and you're going to be able to actually buy and purchase items at the shop with the coins in the story mode. In the arcade mode, their sole purpose is just score. At the end of the map, it's going to count how many coins you have and add them to your final score as well. Top left is your score, and top right is going to be the high scores. Next continues, 7 of them. Those are some collectibles that are actually just for points, again for the arcade mode. Actually not just for points, even in the arcade mode they kind of unlock something at the end of the game, and in the story mode they're much more dominant in the story mode and what exactly they are, and you know, you have to actually, it kind of gives you the incentive of searching for those in the story mode, whereas in the arcade mode you can just go through it and not even bother. Then there's the 2 keys, which again their purpose is just points for the arcade mode, whereas in the story mode there's going to be 2 keys per map. One key unlocks the end of the map, another key unlocks the area of around about the middle of the map, and those are going to be kind of like secrets. Not secrets, but you're going to have a little puzzle for each key, finding each key. It's not going to be straight away evident. It's not going to be just laying down on the floor in front of you, something like that. In some rare occasions it might be like a harder enemy, or kind of like a boss mini boss that you might have to fight, and that mini boss will drop the key. But in most cases it's going to be like a little puzzle. Not too hard, but it's aiming for, you know, a relatively medium kind of puzzle. That's why they're not used in the arcade mode, because the arcade mode, like I said, the whole purpose of it is to be kind of like the arcades that we used to play. So you just go from left to right, don't worry about what you collect and what you don't collect, and just have fun and enjoy it and see how fast you can get to the end, or pretty much just enjoy hacking and slashing your enemies. But in the story mode you will not be able to progress each part without getting the respective key for it. And I guess the good thing about all this is that you will be able to, with the arcade mode, to see the entire game and all the maps. The ending to the arcade mode is actually going to be a little bit different to the story mode. It's a little small difference. And then you go into story mode, that's where you're going to spend more time, and that's pretty much where the 1 hour and more is going to go into the game. And the little holes there, they're actually dragon fragments, dragon stones, and they're a little bit harder puzzles, and you don't need them to progress, but they do give you a bonus. Again, no spoilers, they do give you a bonus. They do build up towards a bonus. So if you remember the last video that I had made, there was a pretty dodgy animation for the attack. Now I've got full combos. That's one of the things that has been added. You have your 3-string combo. First attack is used to also collect items for extra points. It's like breaking coins, you know what I mean? Then you have your second attack, and your third attack is what can also be chained into collecting some shield, and it's your most powerful attack, and it's a little bit slower. It takes more time after that to get back into it. You have an upward attack, so you press up and attack. Most enemies on your height don't get affected by this. It's much more for aerial enemies. Then you have crouch, and you can crouch walk left and right, much more accurate. There are, you know, avoid traps, avoid certain attacks as well, whatever it is that you want to avoid with that. Block, like I already said, we have jump, and the last button is F, so you can actually drink the potions. Also got a menu working, in-game menu. We have resume, exit, save and exit. Save doesn't work at the moment, it just kicks you out. And we have resume. The those four circles that you see there are also the spells that you're going to be collecting throughout the game, and you're able to change those spells in the menu by just simply pressing the attack, defend, jump and health potion buttons, which is ASDF at the moment. Okay, no, regime. Alright. Collecting spells actually gives you the spells automatically anyway, so you won't need to worry about that. Okay. I just fixed the camera today as well. As you can see, it has a smoother movement. You know, if you go towards the end, if you go slowly, it just has a little bit of a movement going to it. Fix the parallax backgrounds, and pretty much the game is pretty much playable for the most part. Now, those are going to be the basic mechanics. You're going to be able to do spells. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So let's go into just showing you a quick run through the game, and yeah, just enjoy. I'm not going to show you any secrets this run, and the reason why is because I don't want to spoil, I don't want to spoil things. So I'm just going to go to the obvious places that you would go anyway. At the moment, there is no sound aside from just those coins that are being collected. See, we're going to a new location here. It says fields at the top, and that's the next part of the level. Another thing to keep in mind about this game is that you're able to jump on walls, which is very important. It's a very big aspect of this game. There are some locations that you can only get to by jumping off walls, either jumping on that wall consecutively or just jumping off a ledge like that. And you're also able to jump, from one wall to another. It's a little bit hard to pull off straight away. That's why I'm using it not so much for jumping from one wall to another, as much as simply just getting to other locations. So now we've got 268 shield at the bottom. I can use the skill which is block and attack, and that's it right there. Upward dash there. We'll just collect that. Oh crap, just missed it. See, I'm actually showing you some tricks here as well. You can get to that money bag in just by jumping across from over there, but if you miss it, you can get it that way as well, or you can just strike on it in the air while you're jumping towards it. Like I said, the first attack allows you to collect. Collect items. I won't let this guy hit me, so you can see the animations as well, blocking it. 128, 108. This guy has a larger, more powerful strike. If I remember correctly, I think the other guys only do 10 damage. Take 10 away. Let's see actually. Yep, these guys are weaker. Yeah, I mean, there's so many numbers I don't even remember, you know what I mean? Oh, there's a trap there. It just hit me a little bit. We'll drink our potion with F. Jump across. And let's just I'll just go through it and let you enjoy it yourselves. Not too much talking from me. The whole idea and concept behind the movement of the game, I wanted to be very fluent and allow you to be able to, do funky jumps and be able to have good maneuverability. You can also duck these guys. Just these guys though. Yeah, the guys with the helmets, the bigger skeletons, they take more, they have larger health pool, and they also they deal more damage, and their hitbox is also a little bit larger. So this is a little insight of how it's all going. I want to see if I want to put together like a quick trailer with all of this. So those of you that want to see just gameplay, you can straight away go to that video, as you will see in the description of this video. See here, you can jump across there just like you normally would, or you can just jump like that. So a little, basically that mechanic of jumping off walls is something that's going to be part of the game in a lot of areas. Let's drink a potion and show you how this can damage me. Actually, I'll let it kill me so I can reset. There we go. You die. Camera follows you around and takes you right to the place, to the start of the location within the level that you're currently at. Actually, some of these are a little bit harder than they look. It's just that I've been testing this game out so much that, you know, it's pretty easy for me. Now we've gone to the cemetery location. Alright, collected a lot of shield, and it's much better than killing them one by one. As you can see, it takes much more time. Whereas if you just get them all to come closer and boom, do that, they're all dead. Of course, larger enemies, later stages, you're gonna have more enemies spawning together at the same time. More types of enemies, not more than these, because see here I put a lot of enemies to spawn together because they're easy and they're pretty weak. Yeah, they're skeletons. These are the primary enemies of the game. And that's pretty much it. That's the first level right there. As you would normally go. I'll show you one little secret because it's pretty self-explanatory anyway. So it's not really a big spoiler. I mean, I try to make one of the puzzles to this map pretty easy. The other one is a lot harder, and I'm not actually going to show that other one. So you can see there's a key up there. And I'm not going to show how you get that key either. But you go down to this ladder here. Let's drink a potion. Enemies have drops depending on, you know, how good you do, let's just say. You can see there's a spell up here. That's a fire spell for you. That's what spells look like. You gotta pick them up. And upon picking it up, you'll be able to have access to it from here, from the menu. But you also see it straight away light up at the bottom next to the keys. So that's pretty self-explanatory, so that's why there's no point of, like, it's not really a spoiler. You just jump across here. As you can see, the spell lit up. But I will show you just so you can see what you can do with spells. Aside from just doing damage, they are also utility based in the game, and they are used for a lot of puzzles. And I'm going to show you that right now. So you have this location here where you can't jump into it. But there is the dragon fragment. As you can see, that's 1/2 of the stone that I'm supposed to be getting at the bottom. And if I use the fire spell here, I can burn that off and I take the first fragment. That's how you get to the first fragment. It's actually the second fragment in the stage. And that's the end of the map. As you can see, I haven't got any of the keys or the second fragment, so there's more to it, and that already was I think long enough for an arcade run, and for a first level. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much what I've been working on. It took me a month to get all the mechanics working. There's still some little things to do here and there to have all the basic mechanics fixed, which is the save game states, scoreboards, and the shop, pretty much. And then, you know, the rest is just populating the game with characters, enemies, story mode, and the maps themselves, and of course working on the layouts and the designs for each level. The idea is that each level as it goes will become a little bit larger, a little bit longer, a little bit more complicated. For first level, obviously, like always, like all those games, you try to make it as simple as you possibly can for the game compared to the game itself. You can obviously also always play easy mode if you want, and everybody's health is like dropped. And you can see it's dropped so much. These guys are actually red, you know, they're with blood. You know, they're die with like 2 shots. You know, they're almost dead. That's another thing. They've got also damage indication on enemies, so you can tell, you know, as you're damaging them, how much, how long it takes for, or about your progress on killing them. So for those of you that it might be a little bit too hard, just play arcade mode, have fun with it, and just scroll along and hack and slash. You know, that's always good. For those of you that it's actually a little bit too easy, of course, you can go for story mode. You can also try to find every secret in the map, and you can also play it on hard. As you can see now, it's gonna take me a little bit longer to kill everybody. These guys usually die on the second hit. Now it took 3 hits. The third hit is actually a pretty powerful hit, and these are basic enemies. That's, you know, for people that want to have a better challenge. It starts you off with no continues. It starts you off with just one life, 1 health potion, and you just gotta make your way through it, you know. Enemies are harder to kill. I need to make it even a little bit harder, but it's still already harder than it was before. And you got less tools to help you out on your way, so yeah, that's pretty much it. That's Mythic Draconis in its first month. So that's pretty much the video. Yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know where the game is at, how it's coming along. It's coming along pretty well, I think. It's got that nostalgia feel to it, pixel art, and relatively limited mechanics. It's going to be also a rather puzzle-heavy game, you might say. So it's going to have its hack and slash elements, stronger enemies later on that are going to take more of your time to kill them and take them down, harder locations, a little bit larger maps, depending, you know, how long it takes. I'll have to test that out and see each map how long it actually takes, and slowly increase the size of the maps and the complexity of the enemies. There's going to be a lot of different types of enemies as well. Like here we just got guys hitting you with swords and flaming skull chasing you around. There's going to be archers. There's going to be guys that lob things like, you know, fire potions at you. Mage casters are going to be tossing homing projectiles, and of course bosses. So the next part of me is making the next levels and populating them with new enemy types and whatnot. The mechanics are pretty much fixed at this point, and yeah, it's actually an achievement. I really was looking forward to having the game ready and playable, like a proper alpha version. I really wanted to be at this point right now, 1 month into making the game. So yeah, achievement unlocked. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time right here on the Digital Creative Farm.